I'm Malcolm Van Delst, and this is an excerpt from How Low Can You Go, Book 5 in the Do the Wrong Thing series. Last time I read in How Low Can You Go, I had a rewrite of the mac and cheese scene from the previous week, followed by Ava planning to go to film or art school and trying Dilaudid. This chapter is called Music is Life. I may not be film school rich, but compared to everyone around me with my job at the Pioneer, I'm richer. I can consider going to Concord for this Lollapalooza festival in August. Ice-T and Body Count, the Butthole Surfers, Rollins Band, Jane's Addiction, plus the ones I'm not thrilled about but won't say no to seeing. Susie and the Banshees, Living Color, and Nine Inch Nails. And an alternative circus. It's going to sell out. The day the tickets go on sale in May, I call and buy one. Thank God for my credit card. As soon as I'd worked the required 3 months at the Pioneer last fall, I applied and got it. I was thrilled. Don't ask me why. I have no interest in running up credit and pay it off each month. It felt so adult to get one, and it's handy. I will not miss this concert like I missed Public Enemy. I'll hitchhike to Concord alone if I have to, or stay with Rick and Michelle, who live there now. My brother Luke quits his job at the Pioneer. Your brother is a great guy, one of the waitresses tells me after his last day. But man, did he suck at bussing tables. I haven't talked about Damien, my old writer friend from Release, but as my attachment to Greg, drinking, and what's left of the nerd and doof crew wanes, I see him more often. Always at his place, never mine. We drink, smoke cigarettes, and yak away about what? Politics, for sure. He's a socialist. Literature, films, music, culture, I guess. Sitting at the table in his massive kitchen, rolling those smokes with a machine where you cram loose tobacco into a slot, then slide another piece of the machine over top, which pushes the tobacco into an empty cigarette filter attached to its end. Brrr, snap, over and over again as brown bits of tobacco accumulate against the table's yellow pine surface. Damien's apartment is in a rundown building near the bus station, but my God, it's big. Eventually, Emily moves into the same building into an equally large suite. I stay in the hub. I like it there, close to bars, restaurants, and stores, and populated with fashionable alternative types and students from nearby Arbor U. What is this area called? It's not a lobby, but a squarish center with hallways and staircases leading from it up and down. I guess it's a lobby, a huge one. Chairs and vinyl benches, large potted plants, and notice boards carve up the space. Courtyard, maybe that's what it is, though courtyards are usually outside. Department of Visual Arts applicants, please have a seat, says one notice board positioned directly in front of the doors, so I sit down with 4 or 5 others, all of whom carry professional black portfolio cases. I hold my salmon-colored shopping bag full of carefully framed and mounted photos on my lap. At least the bag is from Strawberry, a trendy store in the hub, not Susie Shear or some other low-end mall shop. Why in God's name did I ever think I could become an artist? I'm about to bolt when a small, bespectacled man with a receding hairline calls my name. I hesitate. Ava Mueller? He calls again. He looks at a clipboard in his hands. I can still leave. It's not too late. I stand. He won't know that I'm Ava Mueller. The man looks at me and smiles. I'm wearing white baggy shorts with a strip of brightly colored embroidery down the front on each leg. I hate these pants. When I bought them, I was trying to be happy, hip, not my usual defiant or dour, but they sit in my closet untouched, even though they cost $100. I didn't know what to wear to a portfolio review, so opted for halfway between dressing up and looking punk. I feel ridiculous. All the other portfolio carriers are in dress clothes, one guy in a full suit. Ava? Queries the man. He wears a dress shirt and dress pants. I nod. Everyone looks at me and my plastic bag. Come with me, please. I follow him down some stairs into a pottery classroom where another man waits, this one in a black t-shirt and beige twill pants. Hello, smiles the man in the t-shirt and twill. Curly black hair, handsome at one point, though he's 40 now. He reviews my documents, asks me a few questions, then says, "Let's see what you've got." I pull out my oh-so-carefully mounted pictures from my bag and put them on the table, which is more of a long plywood surface with stools on either side. He asks me about the food pictures, and I tell him about photographing things no one else wants to. I show him which pictures were taken with the disposable cameras and explain how I wanted to use different tools, too. I stare at my stupid hands sitting against my ugly white shorts with the stupid strip of embroidery down the centers of the legs. I'm going to recommend you for the program, he says. I raise my head. Fuck. Tears. You're an artist. He smiles. I really like this coworker, Cass. Brash, squat, and blonde, hard, unrefined, working class. She likes baseball and hockey, but her eyes crinkle and warm when she talks to me, and if someone likes me, I like them. Right now, her eyes are big round plates. She sits at a table with some friends outside on the patio at the Pioneer. Her and I finished our afternoon shift a few minutes ago. I'm at a different table, waiting for Greg. I turn to see what she's looking at. Marching down the sidewalk, leaning backwards as he does, leering, eyes bobbling in his head. Dirty, but he's not on his way to work. Greg doesn't work. He turns the corner onto the patio and sits on my lap, grinning. Cass's eyes grow even bigger, if that's possible, as she looks from him to me. I laugh. Trip 1. I visit my old roommate, Michelle. Her new partner and I spend the first night alone in her living room while she stays in their bedroom. Steve introduces me to Guns N' Roses. Michelle comes out to say hi on Sunday, just before I go. No, this isn't working. Try again. I start going back to Release on weekends to visit my old roommates. I don't know why I didn't do this sooner. Too busy drinking, right? And Ice Cube and Henry Rollins instead of Jimi Hendrix. I remember Neil's friend calling me judgmental back when I lived in Release. Me? Judgmental? I accept everybody, I thought at the time. But she's right, because when I decide on a trend or way of being, I give myself to it 100%. Still true, sadly, today. That's why I'm finishing this book. Anyway. I start going back to Release. The first time I visit Michelle, who now lives with a man named Steve. Their relationship is not going well, I quickly learned. She disappears into her bedroom, their bedroom, letting Steve and I sit in their living room smoking massive amounts of dope and drinking. I'm not into Guns N' Roses, but Steve loves them. The band is a new sound for me, and I can relate to the anger and angst, ignore the misogyny as I did and do with rap. They are not cool, which I like. Counter culture. Where am I at with countering the culture? On this visit and the following ones, we get so high that we can't talk or... I hate drug paranoia, but I do it to myself again and again. Countering the alcohol, I suppose, and being cool, which is like being strong, which makes no sense because since when is fear cool? Fashion-wise, Guns N' Roses are not a stretch, from spray-painted punk bras to not spray-painted bras, black slips cut off to become crop tops, red lipstick, and black mascara. I don't bust a Release. I hitchhike. Standing along the freeway out of Release, heading back to Arbor in my cut-off black slip top and striped blue and white short shorts. The shorts have a hippie look with the stripes running diagonal to the center line of my body. Sexy. Revealing. Round sunglasses that I'd stolen from Giant Tiger. Wore them right out of the store with the price tag hanging between my eyes. First thing I ever stole in my life, inspired by Jane's addiction, been caught stealing. I thought the lyrics were, when she wants some skin, she don't want to pay for it. Then I learned what they really were, so decided to steal. Speaking of stealing and skin, Michelle was righteously jealous of Steve and I. She was the one that went to bed, that didn't want to hang out and continue drinking and smoking pot. Steve and I were commiserating, both lonely, alone, and yeah, those were sad days and nights, sitting at Michelle's, among the well-cared-for plants and French posters on the wall. 1930s ads for bath powder or some such thing, and Polish art exhibit posters because Michelle's parents were Polish. Blasting metal, not talking. Michelle walking in to check on us, or maybe she considered joining us, then changed her mind each time, seeing how morose we were. No relief from her own apparent unhappiness. Chapter continues.